So the first thing we want to do is choose a sprite. And we want something that we can blow up. So let's go down to the robots. Go MPR, robot. This one is a good robot for blowing up. And I'll tell you why in a moment. We can blow up other things later, but this is the one we're going to start with. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to make an explosion. Okay, so we have the robot in the middle. I want you to change its size to 50 instead of 100. So for this robot, what we want to do is we're going to make it simple first. When we tap on it, we want it to disappear. So imagine if we were playing like a shooting game where there's lots of monsters or bugs, and then when you tap on it, we want to get rid of it, right? So we're going to do that for our robot first. And the reason is because that is the simplest way to start testing our robot, okay? So let's make it so that when the robot starts, when the flag clicked, we want to get the robot to show itself, okay? We want the robot to show itself. And also before it shows itself, we want it to go to its first costume, okay? So switch costume to robot A. But then when we click on the robot, we want it to disappear. So who wants to suggest how we can do that? Marcus.
I think you go into events.
Yep.
And when this sprite clicked.
Yep.
Hide.
Fantastic, Marcus. Right on the mark. That's great. Thank you very much for that, Marcus. So let's try that out. We press the flag, the robot's here, we click on it, and it disappears. See, very, very simple. Nothing challenging about this at all. But now we want to make it so that this robot explodes and explodes in a way that looks kind of cool. Okay, so now we're going to do a lot of stuff in the costumes. Okay, so now let's make it so that we have an explosion costume. Let's click on our robot, click on costumes. And then right now there are 4 animation frames. We've got robot A, B, C, D. Okay. I want you to click on robot A, the first one. And then I want you to right click it, and then it'll bring up this menu. And then I want you to duplicate it. Okay. If you have trouble hitting the right button menu, let me know. Oh wow, everybody's going really well. So when we duplicate robot A, it's got this robot A2 there. Now we don't want to put it there, we wanted to put it at the very end. Robot A2 at the very end. So drag it to the end. Now we want to rename it to explode A. So right click. Oh, whoops, sorry. Up over here, so for robot A2, we highlight the text here, we remove it, and then we call it explode A. Explode A. Okay. Everybody okay? So explode A has been created. Now, when a robot explodes, we don't want it to just disappear because that's not very interesting. We want all its parts to kind of get knocked out of order and like sent out in all corners. And then this little puff of smoke is going to be really important for us because then we can add some more effects. Okay. So first of all, let's click on this cloud, this puff of smoke. I want you to click on it, drag it around, make sure you can move it around like I have. Then what I want you to do is press copy and paste. Once you press copy and paste, you'll see that we have now 2 cloud puffs. Okay. So you don't have to do exactly as I say, but you can follow me as close as you want, okay? Because this is just decoration. So we want to put the cloud puff over this side. And then also using the rotating arrows, we want to rotate it so that it looks like the cloud puff is coming from inside the gears of the robot. Okay. And then we do the same thing again, copy, paste. I want you to make 4 cloud puffs around the robot. Copy, paste. So remember, this is just the first frame of the animation where the robot has just, something has gone wrong with it. Maybe it's been hit by a laser, or maybe it's been hit by a rock, and inside something is not right. Explode A. All right. If anyone needs extra time, then let me know. No? Going okay? It's fantastic. All right, so now after you've done explode A, we right-click on explode A and duplicate it again. And then we call this one explode B. So they look exactly the same, but don't get confused, okay? Explode A, explode B. So now we're working on explode B. So the smoke is going to go further out and it's going to get smaller. So you click on the corner to make it go smaller and also make it go further out. This makes it look like that the cloud of smoke was really big at the start and then it starts to fade because it just puffed the smoke out very far, right? But now we are going to make a star, okay? It's going to be like an explosion. It's going to be like a 7 or 8 pointed star. And we want to make it red because red is a sign of danger, okay? How do we do that? Well, we click on the line tool. And then on the black outline here, we click on it, we change it to red. Remember, use this straight line tool, change it to red. And now we're going to, this explosion is going to happen from inside the robot, but we're not going to draw it over the robot yet because we might accidentally hit something and get distracted. What we're going to do is we're going to draw a small version of the explosion here. Then once it's done, we're going to drag it up and make it bigger. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're going to draw a small version of the explosion underneath the robot. And then once it's correct and we're happy with it, then we'll drag it over the robot. So click on the line tool, make sure it's red. And then we'll start to draw a very rough explosion. Make sure all the lines connect up. Yeah, I'll give you a few moments to do this to this star. And you have to make sure that every line is connected on the corners, okay? So don't move your mouse too much when you're creating this star. If you make a mistake, then press undo over here on the top left. After you've created the star, actually, who is anybody need more time? Does anyone need more time? No, that's good. So after you create the star, you press on this paint button, paint bucket. It says fill. You say it's our fill. We want to color the whole thing red. So let's press fill. And the fill color is purple at the moment, which is not right. So we click on the fill arrow, and then we move everything to the right-hand side to make it red. Click on the space outside, and then with your paint bucket tool selected, you press on the star, and it should color the star red. Hey, Henry. It's okay if you're a bit late, try to catch up, but if not, then I'll send you the video, okay? All right, so we have now 2 frames of animation, explode A, explode B, and we have this star. Now let's select the star. You press on this arrow to select the star after you've colored it red. You press the star, and then you drag it over the robot. And if you like, you can make it bigger as well. So I'm going to make it bigger because the explosion that we're going to make starts off as a big explosion and then it fades away. Okay. So let's drag the explosion over the robot. And then what I want you to do is press backward until this explosion is between the layer of the head and the body. And the reason is because we want to make it look like that the explosion happened in between the robot parts. Okay, so you press backward once. Well, for me, I press it once, twice, 3, 4, there we go, 4 times for me to make the explosion happen right between the head and the shoulders. So now we duplicate explode B to make explode C. So explode C. Okay, so explode C. How are we going to make explode C? Now, remember the cloud dusts are going to disappear because they started really big in explode A, they get smaller in explode B, and then in explode C, they disappear. So we just click on it, and then we press delete, the rubbish bin over here. Delete, 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 delete. But the explosion is going to get more effective, okay? So remember, the explosion starts big, and then it has to get small, just like the dust clouds, to make it look good, okay? So you click on the explosion, and then you drag one of these corners to make it a bit smaller, and then move it back into the middle of the neck again. Henry?
How do you get 4 dust clouds?
The 4 dust clouds come from robot A. So we duplicated robot A to make explode A. And then we clicked on the dust cloud from robot A, and then we went copy and then paste. You get it, Yuri? Cool, well done. So we go explode A, explode B, explode C. Now explode C, remember we made the explosion a little bit smaller, but now what we're going to do is we're going to start to move the different parts of the robot away to show that this robot has disintegrated. So the head goes off a little bit and we tilt it. The arm goes off a little bit and then we tilt that. We do that with the other arm as well. And then the body as well. You see how we're doing our animation? So we go explode A, explode B, explode C. Let me know if you need more time for explode C. Okay, I'll give you a couple more minutes. Making things explode is one of the most challenging things, but also the most fun things you can do in making video games, right? Okay, so we press on explode C, we right click it and duplicate it to make explode D. Explode D. Explode D, what does explode D look like? Well, the explosion is very, very small. So we click on the corner of the explosion to make it really small because we just had a big explosion and it's fading away. And then the parts continue floating off. And you keep on rotating them. And now we have our final animation done. So we got robot A, B, C, and D is to make the robot look like it's spinning around. But when it gets hit and destroyed, instead of making it just disappear, like most of the games that we built, we're going to add something called particles, which is what this is, okay? Particles means it's like dust and explosions and fire in a video game. And that makes a video game a lot richer and it makes it look a lot more professional, okay? So when this sprite is clicked, now we need to make it explode. So we go into looks, switch costume to explode A. So when we click on the costume, we go to explode A, okay? And press the flag if your robot accidentally disappears. Because when you press the flag, it will show it. When the sprite is clicked, switch to explode A. And then how many frames do we need to go forward by? Explode A, 1, 2, 3. So we go into control. And then we go repeat 3 times. What are we repeating? We're repeating going to the next costume. Does that make sense? So go into looks, go to next costume, and then you can test it out. So you press the flag and then you press your robot. But now it's a bit too quick. The animation happens really fast. So what we can do is we can add a tiny wait here, okay? So we go into control again and then wait 0.1 second after next costume. So now when the robot explodes, it's going to look really cool.